It's actually 5 after 5, but it's mountain time. So I'm right on the edge. So really it's 5 after 6. That's the way I kind of look at it. My short stop is Eads, 57 miles. I want to get an early start because there's a chance I might be able to push on to Haswell, which is in the upper 70s. Haswell has nothing. I don't even think there's a convenience store, which is funny because I laid up short because I was concerned that the convenience store was closed. Now I'm going to consider a longer shot into a town that has no convenience store, which means it probably has no park. It has no legitimate place to camp. It might be just a matter of me looking and finding something, and most likely nobody's going to complain about it. I would stop at Eads anyway and provision up if I'm going to go off and do the last 20 some miles. But if the weather's fine, why not? The evenings are cool now, so it's not like the evenings are sweltering like they were a couple of days ago. So yeah, give it a shot. It's a real indication of how far away or how flat this land is. I see a semi coming from a long ways away. I mean, it might be 8 miles before they get to me. Kind of cool. Unless you see a marker that you're trying to get to, and it just takes forever to get to it. Good news and bad news. The good news, I'm out of Kansas. I'm in Colorado. That's awesome. Bad news, broke another spoke. It doesn't look as bad as before, and I've done a better job verifying that it's only one spoke broken. I think it's broke. It's not unscrewed. I tried to screw it back on, so I should be fine to Pueblo. And Pueblo, I will make sure that we've got a nice detail on it. Town of Towner. Looks like a total of 6 square blocks max. Not likely a convenience store. There's 3 broken spokes on this trip so far. 1 flat and 2 ripped off kickstands. All in all, that's still not bad. Something else I forgot to mention, back at Lodi, town of Lodi, I actually ran into 3 bicycle guys. 2 were going west, 1 was coming east. 1 retired guy coming east, started, I believe, up in Wyoming. 1's from Virginia. He actually rode over the Appalachians. He said that was horrible. And 1 from New Orleans. The guy from New Orleans was kind of interesting because he was about 35, younger guy. The other 2 were much older. 1 was retired. But he was flip-flops, tank top, and he was camping pretty much the whole way through. He only stayed in hotels twice. And he would sleep in, and then he would head off, and he would just kind of like grind it through the heat. When I met him at Lodi, I had already arrived, checked into the hotel, cleaned up, went over to like almost like a burger stand. It was so small. And he was sitting there on a bench charging his
phone, just chilling. So I sat there, had my burger, chatted it up with him. So by that time it must have been 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock. And had another bicyclist show up there. He had arrived, was about to check into his hotel, and this guy was about to head back out. He was basically saying that he would bike generally until about 8 o'clock at night, because he says it doesn't really get dark till about 8:30, and then he'd find a place to camp. Going forward, find me a tree. I don't see a tree. By the way, I packed an extra half gallon of water just in case. Can't imagine why. There's the place I would have been camping right there. The RV park. There's the one convenience store that was closed. Let's see if there's any type of a river here. All right. Maybe not. 40 miles done. You know what else is done? Pretty sure corn and wheat is done. When we are talking about on the edge of the desert, it feels like. Home on the range, where the coyotes and armadillos play in the streets and get run over by cars, where seldom is heard a discouraging semi bearing down at 85 miles per hour. And the skies are not cloudy all day. It's going to get to 93. I'll be cycling during the hottest time, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be pressing on. It just seems kind of really early. I mean, granted, I've got another hour to go before I get to Eads, but I'll probably stop, have a good lunch, really load up on the liquids, provision, see if I can push on. And then camp tonight. Sounds good. Camp in the desert, should get nice and cool. Maybe a low of about 65 or 60. All right, 60 miles done. I actually hooked up with one of those guys that I met a couple days ago. We're gonna ride together for a little bit. And I'm either gonna do 82 today, or I might do something so crazy and go 120 and just follow with him. A lot of it really depends on how I feel. It's 11:30. It's gonna get hot, but it'll only get to 92 today. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I get lucky. Man, you got like extra insulation from the cars today.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Surely you'll get out of the way before they take us both out.
I'll hear a crunch and then I'll know.
Exactly. There's a big old wide load. Seen a couple of those today. All right, I'm here with my new friend Andre.
Hi.
Just broke the 100-mile mark, mostly because of Andre, because we hooked up and he was going 60 more miles, and I'm like, shit, I feel good. Might as well give it a try. The good bad news is that we got 15 more miles to go, so it'll end up being a 120-mile day. But if you were here, you can't see it, but we can see it. We can see mountains. Not bad.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever seen them in any capacity, and they're very far away, but still quite impressive. They look tall, so.
Take us 3 weeks to get to them, though.
Yeah. In 2013 or 2014, I hiked from the Gulf of Mexico to Canada.
Wow.
Smaller towns.
So you just had a backpack, huh?
Yeah, just a backpack.
How long did that take you?
That was 3 months and 3 weeks.
Golly, that seems like it should be longer.
I thought it would be.
That is cool, man. Hey, feel free to kick it up a notch if you want, speed-wise. I'm not. I'll be the first one to cry uncle. Well, this was a monster day. 120 miles. The wind was fine. The temperature was not too bad. It got up to 93 today. And I wanted to make up some time for not being able to get much done yesterday. I'm actually camping out today. I'm camping out in the park of this small town. This is actually right here. And yeah, and I hooked up with another biker. He's a guy from New Orleans. So I actually went and did 60 miles and wrapped that up at 11:30, and I was grabbing lunch, contemplating my next step. I was thinking about either going 22 more miles and calling it, which I would have had to camp. But I wasn't thinking about going this far. I wasn't thinking about going an additional 60 miles. But we decided to ride together. We blew through the 22 miles and I was feeling fine. And I was like, you know, screw it. Let's just keep going. If I'm gonna have to camp outside anyway, what am I gonna do? Sit somewhere where it's hot, trying to hydrate, where there isn't a grocery store anyway, and just wait for the sun to come down? Or should I just be on a bike, hot, riding to a larger town that actually has a grocery store, which is right over there, and still camp? So that's what I did. 120 was hard though. I won't lie. 120 was a bear, but it's over. It's done. I'll spend the next several hours really focused on trying to really rehydrate. The temperature is going to drop semi-rapidly. It looks like it's going to get down into the 70s within 2 hours. Right now, it's I think it's 86 right now, but we'll be dropping fast. So yeah, it's all good. I'm actually going to be in Pueblo tomorrow, so this gets me into Pueblo one day early.